What a time to be born. Do you know the story of your birth? I actually do want to find out a little bit. Do you know any stories about your own birth? Do you know how long you were? A few people know that. How many ounces you weighed? Anything else? Any other pieces of your birth story, Ellie? 6 weeks premature. Yeah, that would be a story to share.
Spent the first 6 weeks
In an incubator.
That counts for everything that's wrong with
Absolutely. You can keep blaming that till the end of your days. Yes, the first 6 weeks in an incubator. We're going to talk about incubators in the new year, or the futures we incubate will be our next worship series. Yeah. What else? Yeah. Feet first. Wow. And I'm so glad everyone's here. I hope, yes. Oh, Prince Charles born on the same day and really not okay. He got all the attention. Yeah. Mother and baby doing fine. Father in the hospital on the birth announcement. Yeah, Marin. Born in the Bronx. Oh, that story enough, huh? Yeah, a couple more. You came out dancing to a gypsy band on Easter Monday. Oh, beautiful. Maggie, you got one? No. Okay, one more. Alice, yeah. Hear you down the hall screaming for food. These stories of our birds, we don't. Sometimes people know the weather that was going on. Do you know the weather that was happening? But we don't tend to tell. December 21st, you can guess, in the Bronx. Yes, I think I can. We don't though tend to understand our birth stories. Most of us in the cultures we're coming from here in this room, we don't just find out when we were born that we were born into a legacy that touches every corner of the cosmos. We don't hear that it was a miraculous moment, a magical moment that the stars danced and the angels sang at our birth. The way that famous birth story that we tell this time of year. Birthing is hard, I understand. And whether it's the actual birthing of labor or the birthing on that clean white page that David talks about, or birthing the sun as Hummingbird did in the story, whatever it is that you are called to birth, to bring forth, or when you were called to be born, it wasn't easy. What I know about my birth story, a couple of things. There's a little bit of that magic in it. My mom saw a psychic just a few days before I was born because I was also going to be born feet first. I was breech in the womb, and the psychic used crystals. I'm asking, my mom's here, so I can actually verify the story this time, to turn me in the womb. It's a story that I don't know what to believe about, but then it led into the next magical moment of my birth, which was when in the hospital room, surrounded by women, my two moms and their lesbian friends, and the woman who was the doctor helping me to be born, and maybe the other women there, they called in for the horoscope reading of the day. You're getting the picture of who my moms were, right? So they call the horoscope. Somebody comes in, people born on this day. So it comes in to be read in the birth room. People born on this day will be surrounded by members of the opposite sex. These birth stories, these stories of where we come from and what they might have to say about who we are and what we might have to do in this world, in this life. I remember being enchanted by the local sage Gary Snyder's description of his time spent among the Aboriginal folks in Australia. He talked about ride he took through the country on the back of a pickup truck, sitting with a couple of Aboriginal friends he had made, and they began to tell him the dream story of the place that they were in. Dream stories like that story of the hummingbird, or these stories and especially for the Aboriginal Australians, they're this epic story of the entirety of creation. And everything that exists has its place in this dreamtime story, right? The time from before, the time that lives in this other world, like David White was talking about, this time of mythic imagination. And in that dreamtime story, Gary Snyder's listening, and it doesn't all quite make sense. It's all happening kind of fast, and the things don't add up. And then he realizes that the problem is that these are stories that are meant to be told while walking through the places. And they're driving at the speed of a truck. And so this guy telling the story can't quite keep up with the stories he's telling, because the stories aren't just words or ideas, they belong to the place. They belong to the features of the land that they're traveling across. These stories and the place that they come from can't be separated apart. And in fact, this is the part that was most enchanting to me, when people are conceived in this culture, that moment of conception doesn't come at fertilization, it comes at the quickening, when a mother first feels the baby kick in her womb. The mother knows to remember exactly where she is when she feels that first movement in her womb, because in their tradition, that's the place where the soul comes up from the earth to enter the body. And that place is the place that this child belongs to and comes from. And that place is not just a piece of land, it also is a piece of the dreamtime story. And so the elders give when this child is born, and as it grows up, give this child its piece of their story. Sing this child its place in the cosmology of their people. And so when you're born, you don't just own a day for your birth, you own this piece of the story, this place that you belong to. It comes with an animal who's your sacred animal, a part of the tribe. You become a member of a club within the community based on this place to which you belong. I wish that for us, that kind of belonging, that kind of knowing we are part of something so much bigger, that knowing how small we are, that we still are part of the majesty of it all. At my family, we try and remind ourselves of this with a song that my brother can't stand. Actually, no one I've ever been in a relationship can stand. It's obnoxious, but it's kind of delightful too. It goes like this: God danced the day you were born, so grateful for the gift of you. Oh, no, I can't remember unless I sing it. Okay, here you go. God danced the day you were born, and the angels did the bump to Gabriel's horn. God danced the day you were born, so grateful for the gift of you. I saw God do the funky chicken, stepping and kicking in blue suede shoes. I saw God do the boogaloo, woo! So grateful for the gift of you. Okay, this is the best part. Now, some folks say that long ago God could not dance to save her soul, but people, I've seen her shake that jelly roll, just thinking about the gift of you. Oh, I'm sorry if I've inflicted any of your families with that now. In Jesus' birth story, it was by naming the lineage, the whole lineage. You can, I imagine, name your parents and your grandparents. Can you name your great-grandparents? I can go about just that far. Your great-great, anybody can go 5 generations back? How about 6 or 7 or 8? Any of us? You can, Jim. How far can you go back? To the time of Henry the Sixth. Incredible. Okay, we have a longer conversation to have. I don't think even you, though, Jim, can go back the 42 generations that the book of Matthew begins with. So-and-so begat so-and-so, begat so-and-so, begat so-and-so. If you've ever tried to read the Bible, you know pages and pages of begats. 42 generations to name this birth matters. This being coming into the world is unlike any other who has ever existed. You have a special purpose in being born. Or how about this? After 14 billion years of dancing, colliding stardust, 4 billion years of a watery planet circling a star at just the right distance for life to evolve and thrive, after hundreds of millions of years of evolution brought a species of primate to the point where it could tell stories and learn to cooperate in vast numbers, cooperate so effectively as to dominate the whole planet. After tens of thousands of years of people experimenting with far-ranging cultural modes, finding endlessly creative ways to bind together with rituals and myths and songs and dance, after some of these humans began to segregate themselves from the rest of the planet's ecosystem, began to attune to an only human world of alphabetic language, began to reshape the life around them through domesticated agriculture in a time just after these same humans harnessed the resources of the world they had now found themselves alienated from. And their growing understanding of physics to quickly upend life across the planet through an industrial revolution. As this society of industrial growth roared to its inherent limits, and the planet, which they had forgotten could speak, began to raise its voice back, you were born. You were born a witness to the wonder of earthlings breaking through the planet's atmosphere for the very first time, venturing beyond our blue boat home. a witness to toxins filling the skies, to rising seas and the sixth mass extinction of our biosphere. Born to a humanity unsure of its humanness, unsure if it any longer belonged in the world it had tried to make an object, an alien other. You were born to a people who had colonized and been colonized, born into a family that had been dislocated over and over, perhaps a family of adapters, of people seeking new hope, new opportunities, of people trampling over sacred ground they hardly knew. You were born one more Redeemer, one more wondrous life force capable of awe and sorrow and love and hope. You were born to the tribe of stardust, to the Sapiens clan, just at the moment when we were becoming viscerally aware that our whole planet shares a common destiny. You were born with gifts and a calling and a unique role to play in a time of great change. You were born from the vast, mysterious into the finite and crying particular existence of you. Your humanness and cosmic majesty, the simple truth of your DNA and the divine wonder of your being at all, calling to you with a holy, urgent demand that you live the life only you can. You are not a troubled guest on this earth. You're not an accident amidst other accidents. You were invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged. What urgency calls you to your one love? What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches against a future sky? Amen, and blessed be.